really hope this works. So yeah, what are we doing? We're telling your followers that you started a live. Okay. Now we just gotta wait for Anfani to join the party. Hopefully we don't have a Teddy Riley situation. It's raining outside too. I went raining earlier. Raining. I went running earlier. That was a lot of fun. Hung Up Pod just joined. I love y'all content, by the way. Another dope podcast you guys gotta check out. This podcast game has been crazy though. Hey, Anthony just joined. Let's get him part of the conversation. Let's add
Now we're just waiting for him. It's connecting.
Hola, Kimosabi.
You know I didn't need you yelling at me about the lighting.
No, that's good lighting. Thank the Lord.
Okay.
And mine is dark.
On this rainy day.
Yeah, because it's real gloomy here. So mine looks crazy, but what's up, everybody?
I still went running in the rain.
Hey, thank you, Hung Up Pod. He said they our podcast is on his list for tonight.
I can see the chat too.
Huh?
I
You
see
ain't
it
say
too.
nothing?
I already spoke to them before you came on.
No, you said hi. You didn't say thank you for support.
Oh my God.
There's a difference.
It begins. It begins.
You started it. You shouldn't have started with me.
You hiding your hair too?
No, it's down here.
Oh, no. Not me. This ain't coming out to like a haircut. Like
Psych. I am so sleepy. Let me see if I can get a little bit of light, because it is kind of dark and gloomy.
Same. I tried to tell him to test all this before we got started, and here we are.
He's a liar.
He'd be the main one yelling at me though. Fix your lighting.
It's dark. I can't do nothing about my lighting. I got lights and on, but
You don't got one of those Insta socialite circle lights that
I
everybody
had
get?
one, but it broke.
How the hell did you? What happened?
The, it was a cheap one. So the so the whatchamacallit that it was on, it broke. Let's see if we can nigga rig it.
Don't. Okay.
It is what it is. See what you can do.
Just put a lamp behind you.
I'm
I mean, in front of
big
you.
lamp over here. They can see me just fine. They see my face more than they see yours. They need to see you.
I'm good. Now it looks like a scary movie.
Oh God. Fluorescent.
Okay.
Yeah,
Let's get one of those UV lights that your
Scary.
president was talking about.
It's like I'm not gonna do that.
You heard me?
What'd you say?
Let's get one of those UV lights your president was talking about. Cure this all right up.
He's a complete idiot. I don't know who he is. He's not my president. And that what the memes be saying, not my president.
Look.
He is not my president.
They said that about Obama for 8 years. So yeah, stay hydrated.
I am very dehydrated today. I don't know what's going on. I said he would want to talk on a day that I feel dehydrated. I'm sleepy.
I want people to get a real idea of what it's like for our
Deal with
conversation.
you, yes.
Before we even press record.
To deal with you, yes. Tell the truth.
It's a challenge. It's a challenge.
Yes, and I have to deal with you every week for something. I said I need a vacation just from him.
So why don't you start with our origin story? How do we meet?
No, you wanted to do this. You do the story. Don't be trying to make me do all the talking.
Yeah, because how are you not ready? You had the countdown going. It's 4:04.
Shut up. I did all the work. Anyway, origin story of me and you. Okay.
Yes.
Hold on, wait. On my sport boy.
Now we're just a bilingual podcast.
Now we're a bilingual podcast. No. So Chris and I met, what is it, maybe 3 years now? Would you say 3 years?
I would say 3 years.
Yeah, so maybe 3 years ago. So me and Chris, a friend of mine, we had a mutual friend. Because I was in town. I was in Delaware with my visiting my family. And he hit me up and was like, what you got going on? Or whatever the case may be. So I was like, I'm not really doing anything. He was like, come to Philly. And me and a couple friends are going to a bar or whatever the case may be, come hit us up. So I said, all right, cool. So I drove to Philly and we went to the bar and we chilling or whatever case may be. A couple people are there, chit-chatting or whatever. Chris comes in later with another one of their friends or whatever the case may be. And we drinking and we laughing and we talking and then we go to another, we go to a club. So when we get to the club,
Yo.
mind you, I don't know none of them. I just met them tonight except for the one friend that me and Chris had in mutual. And we at the club or whatever case may be. Chris is trying to be Mr. Cool. So he
I wasn't trying to be
posted up
cool.
on the wall, chilling or whatever the case may be. And this big girl comes over to him. Big girl, not
No exaggeration.
girl.
No exaggeration.
Catch it. So big girl comes over to him and was just dancing in front of him for a little bit. And I'm standing over to the side and I'm watching everything that happens because I'm very much an observant person. I just pay attention to everything that everybody does. So big girl's dancing in front of Chris. Baby, that thing started working, Chris, over in the corner. That thing was working, Chris. And Chris's face said, I am terrified right now. I'm mortified. So he stopped moving. Chris stopped moving altogether. So I'm like, oh, man, what is getting ready to happen? So I could tell. It was like we almost linked, like hit eyes together at the same time. I said, let me go help him. So I went right over to Chris, grabbed him by the hand, and snapped him out the corner.
Yes, he did.
And that was all she wrote.
Listen,
ever since. He wanted to buy me drinks and everything at the end of the night because I saved him. But then,
because nobody was paying attention. Like all of my friends, nobody was paying attention. And I'm
all
like,
his friends was in the middle of the other floor dancing. I mean, getting it. All his friends, and I'm the only one on the side. Like, is none of them going to save him because I don't know him. But
not reading the signals or anything. I'm like, yo. I'm like, remember Kevin Hart, like, help me.
Right. Nigga. I was like, yo, nobody's going to save him. Let me just go ahead and save him because he is not trying to be stuck underneath this big girl.
And I was truly stuck. I was truly stuck.
Funny. And me and Chris have been connected ever since. Because after that, then Chris and I ended up working in Lidditz, Pennsylvania.
Where?
Lidditz, Pennsylvania, huh?
I thought it was Lancaster.
No.
No, we met in Lancaster.
We met in Lancaster.
Yeah.
That was I had to work in Lancaster one time, but that particular time I worked in Lidditz. And me and Chris he was like, let's hook up, let's go and get something to eat. So we went and got something to eat. We met because I was like maybe like an hour and a half away from you, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
We met halfway, went to eat, had great conversation as we normally do. And
how late were you?
Huh?
How late were you?
I think you wanted me to slip up a middle finger. Is that what you said?
You was like you was like an hour late. You was like a whole hour late.
Let me tell you why though. I didn't have any cash, and I was in town for work, so I didn't have any cash. Yeah, I had a toll that I didn't know I had to go through. I went through took the wrong turn. I was all kinds of craziness by the time I got there. But we ended up getting there, having dinner, and having a really organic conversation, and it naturally flowed. And I don't get those kinds of conversations with a lot of people. I can't speak for Chris. He does more than I do. But we just had a real organic conversation. We vibed really closely, and we just started talking from there on. Then we went on vacation together, and then he was like, hey, I'm doing a podcast. Listen to the podcast. Then he was like, join me on the podcast. No, let's go back.
Yes.
Can you help me with the social media of my podcast?
Uh-huh.
Can you help me? What should I do? So I was a social media consultant for him for a minute, which probably lasted a week before he asked me to join the podcast. And then All this
Well,
history, I'm stuck with
to
it.
be fair, you said no more than once. I was
I
like, listen,
still say no to a degree. Yeah,
yes, you do. The
I
fact that
still
you're on
say
it, everything
no.
you said. So the fact is, um, you
Thank
said
you.
no,
You see
and
the comment?
I'm looking, but I'm trying to stay focused. But I was like, listen, I said just come on and do one episode, like because
That
we
was
always have good conversation and everything like that. So just do an episode. No, I just want to watch. I'll promote y'all, blah blah blah. So then around that time, Kim was talking about she was moving. So
hmm
I said, well, I'm damn sure ain't gonna do this thing by myself. Like there was nobody else I wanted to work with outside of you. So you just go ahead. I said, you just gonna have to say
You just
yes.
gonna
Like
have to say yes.
there's
Uh-huh.
no other option. There's no other option.
And those of you who
It,
don't know Kim is the originator of the Secrets of Killing Us podcast with Chris.
yes.
The only reason that she is not currently part of it because she's still going through a transitional period. So we talked about that the episode before the one we just did. What was the name of that episode? Help me, Chris. You know I'm getting old.
The new normal.
The
She
new
was on the new
normal. Very good.
normal. Yeah.
So we just had the new normal podcast episode with
Don't be
her
testing me in
where
my
we talked
knowledge of the
about,
podcast.
huh?
Don't be testing me in my knowledge of the podcast. I got every episode.
Listen, you
Uh,
need to do it. I do most
right.
of the work, okay? But yeah, so Kim is the originator with Chris that when it started off in Philadelphia when they started, and they were only doing it for what I think 6 episodes
It was
initially,
only supposed to be 6 episodes, like a year and a half ago.
and then this
Just
is where it came to
six
this point.
random topics where we were just talking shit. But it gained traction and it gained popularity. And like, I think in the beginning, you were one of our biggest advocates as far
Mhm.
as like promoting it and getting people to listen to it and giving us feedback after the fact, like, y'all should be doing this, y'all should be doing that. And I was like, well, why don't you just come on and do the things you said we should
See,
be
that's
doing?
what I get. So
Yes,
y'all
that's
heard what he
exactly what
said.
you
I
did.
ran my damn mouth. If I would have just shut up and just said, let them do what they want to do and just support, I'd have been fine. I would not be sitting on here talking to Chris every week, just about.
Well,
Or
I know
every other
that
day, it seems like through text message. So
that's because
I
you be
set myself
texting
up.
me at like 12:30 at night talking about, I got this idea. I'm like, why are you thinking about this? At 12, go to bed. Like, go to bed. You getting a lot of eyes down here. You want to shout out some people?
Oh, that's my baby. That's my babies. That's Nene. That's Let. Who else joined? Yoda is on the line. Yes, Hung Up Podcast. Yes, it is a lot of work to do a podcast. Not just the recording part, promotion,
Yeah.
wanting people to be part of. Butter and Sugar join. That's my homegirl. That's one of my stylists that does my hair. When I be having my
Okay.
twists or whatever the case may be, she does that. But she also has a company that is doing body butters and shea butters and all that kind of stuff. So hit her up, follow Butter and Sugar. I got Tia on the line. Tia is oh God, we've known each other since middle school. That's my homegirl. I love her. Going on a natural hair journey.
Yeah, where the hell are my
Really,
people at? Like,
all
y'all need
my
to show
friends,
up.
all my friends are on.
And this is how we became friends because my current group of friends ain't
Brandon.
shit. This is why I was reaching out to a new group of people.
This is why he wanted me to join. He doesn't have anybody but me and Kim.
Pretty
Okay.
much.
But
So,
yeah, so that's Kim. That's who Kim is. Kim joined and she transitioned to Atlanta and she's opening up her salon and she's going through a really transitional period where she is building her brand up in a new area. And of course, with all the pandemic stuff, it's kind of slowed things a little bit, but she's a go-getter. So she's really working on making things great and all that good stuff. So she couldn't
yeah,
continue with the
she
podcast.
she got some exciting stuff coming out like outside of us. Um and I can't wait for her to share. That's on her to share. But so we're 15 minutes in, so we're right on schedule to be behind schedule. So we came on to talk about the latest episode, levels to this shit is what I wanted to write. But that was like
Mhm.
for the different
We
platforms
can
like
say it
levels.
shit. Say it
We
hard.
could say it on here. So I'm mad at you for bringing this to me, first of all.
What?
The, when I saw it, when I saw you posted on Facebook, I was like, I'm not commenting on that. That's gonna
Oh,
make
the
me mad.
topic?
Yes, the topic. So when you texted to me, I was like, yo, I read it and I was like, all right. So read the quote so people know what we talk. Do you have it in front of you? I knew you. I got
You're
it.
the one that has to be prepared for this kind of
I
stuff.
got it.
I
I
am
got
the
it.
just go off the cuff. You are the detailed. I do the behind the stuff that just needs to.
I'm on it. It says, where is it? Okay. Why is it so much easier to forgive friends, but harder to forgive our spouses, partners, and lovers?
Mm-hmm. You asked me to read it. You read it. What you want me to say?
When I read it, I put it down. I was like, I'm not. I'm not.
and then my ignorant ass go ahead and send it to you anyway. Not even
Yes.
looking for you to comment, but I sent it to you.
And then he was like, we should talk about this. So I read it a little bit, and then I started reading some of the comments on your Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, damn, this really is a polarizing statement. Some people are on both sides, and some people, I'm like,
Yay, me.
fuck. I'm like, now we got to talk about it. And I was just like, yeah, exactly. But the thing is, like, levels to this shit. So that's why I named it levels to this shit, because it's like associates, friendships, friends with benefits, partners, spouses, everything like that. So it's
Yep.
levels to it. But at the end of the day, I just feel like if you're in my life, you're in that specific room, that friendship and that partnership is almost interchangeable outside of we having sex. But no, you can either get forgiven or get kicked out just like everybody else at the same time. And that was my whole take on it. So to see people saying no, you have better
Gonna start getting
expectations.
hot and angry all over
This
again.
is gonna happen.
This episode takes them there, y'all.
This was by far the most
He
frustrating
starts sweating and
episode.
everything.
This was, I
I'm
don't
listening.
get
It's
it.
hot. I gotta
That's
put the fan
I
on.
still don't get it. Where the hell did he go? How do you leave a live podcast?
It's hot.
You told me not to start sweating.
Listen, you're usually the one that be sweating. I can't handle it. It's hot.
Because yeah.
But yeah, it's many levels to it. So when I was talking to it originated from me having a conversation with one of my friends, and we were just talking about relationships, and they're going through a situation in their relationship or whatever. And what you laughing at?
Just keep so I read it. Just you listen. When you talk, I'm reading the comments. When I talk, you read the
Nene, I'm not
comments.
ghetto. Don't try me.
See, this is why I did what you read the comments.
But we were having just a really good conversation about what they're going through, and she was just sharing how she some things that she just can't let go that went on in their relationship or that is going on because they're not broken up. Oh, look at my best friend. Hey, and as she was talking through it, I was like, I can identify, in reference to why she can't let it go. And what we talked about on the podcast is that's just bitterness. It just is what it is. But how do you get over that bitterness? Because she can forgive me with the quickness. She can forgive some of her other friends, with the quickness with some of the things that's going on. And I was just like, I wonder why. It started off with, why are we harder on spouses and partners and all that kind of stuff than it is for us to be harder on our friends? And I was like, that's not true for everybody else. So let me
At
kind of
all.
word the question a little different for one, so I can get other people's perspective to see which one they are on, whether it's easier to forgive a friend or whether it's
Hmm.
easier to forget, a spouse or lover. And then it just kind of sparked from there. And I was like, oh, there are some people that say that they're the opposite. They feel like it's easier to defend or forgive a spouse or lover as opposed to a friend. And
Yeah.
I was like, well, where do I fall into play? So it started having more conversation with myself about it and thinking it through. And then I was like, this is a conversation that needs to happen. So let me talk to Chris so I can get his perspective. And I was like, screenshot, send, we need to do this. And it kind
And
of went from there.
even after the recording, I took it to some of my friends, and even them, like I was surprised by a lot of their responses. Um, and I wonder how much of it is people's past experiences with their friends versus their partners.
Mm-hmm.
I think that has a lot to do with it too. If you have a crop of friends that just has consistently disappointed you over the years,
Mm-hmm.
you might lean more on your partner to not disappoint you, to create that balance, and vice versa. For me, I've been equally disappointed across the board. So I feel like
Damn.
um, either I forgive everybody or I don't forgive anybody. There's really no, I don't even know. There's really no bias to it all. If you're in my life and I love you, whether it's a friend, a family member, or a partner,
Mm-hmm.
then no, fuck that shit. If you disappoint me and I can't deal with it, then I gotta let you go. I gotta let
Yeah.
you go. And the to pick a side was surprising to me. And I think that's why I was set off the way that it did.
And that takes growth to get to that place of saying, just exactly what you said. Everybody can get it. Everybody can get kicked out. Everybody, and
Yes.
that's growth for you. For people who don't know, Chris is an avid forgiver. Period. Like he'll forgive you, and keep on and keep on and keep on. But now he's getting to a place where he's just like, no, I'm not going to keep allowing myself to be hurt and mistreated and all that kind of stuff, and allow people to continue to be a part of my life and hurt me and disappoint me to the point where, you know, I just don't know where we are in the relationship. He's just like, fuck it now. And that's good. That's growth, you know, to get to that place. And I'm kind of that way too. But I think for me, when I thought about it even more, like you said, after we recorded the podcast and I had my little epiphany based on what you said, and you kind of broke my heart a little bit.
Talk about that a little bit more.
So in the conversation that we talked about, and I was sharing it, I'm like that. I'm very much like, I'm harder on the person that I'm with, like a lot of you are saying in the comments, opposed to friends, because when it comes to being with a partner, I feel like there's a certain level of intimacy that's a lot higher for me. And I've shared in previous podcast episodes that I'm more of, I kind of treat them like my journal. You know, I don't want there to be any kind of things that I keep from them. I try my best. Does that mean it always happens? No. However, you know, I hold them to a higher standard because of all that I pour into them outside of myself. So when, I said that kind of good. That came out kind of good when I said that. That was off the cuff. But no, seriously, I really give them, you know, more than I do to my friends. It's only certain friends that's going to know all the intimate pieces of a lot of different things. And that takes time for me to do. But with a lover, I feel like because of the intimacy part of the sex and where the sex takes you emotionally when you're making love to your lover, opposed to somebody that you find attractive and y'all just a hit and quit it type situation, or FOB, there's an agreement there with the FOB. We are going to be friends and we're going to hit it and keep it moving and we still going to be cool. But with a lover, there's more expectation, like we talked about in the podcast episode, in there for me, that I will put on my lover so that when they disappoint me, it's hard for me to let it go, especially if I gave them so much. So that was an opener for me, that I was putting them in so many expectations that they probably didn't even agree to. And that was the part that gagged me. I was like, oh.
And the one where so not to cut you off, the one where we threw out there was ego. Really looking at our relationships. There are certain friends I know I can confide in. There are certain friends I know I can drink with. There are certain friends I know I can have an event and they'll show up. Then there's those other group of friends. So if I put the expectation on them, knowing their history of being flaky and shit, is it on me that they disappointed me, or is it on them for just being true to themselves? If they've always been flaky and year after year after year after year, my expectation of them is they'll show up finally, then I'm only fucking around myself. Like and especially in a romantic relationship, when you're with someone and for years you've learned their patterns and everything like that, and you refuse to believe that's the type of person they are, that's ego. Especially if you think that you can change them. Like, some people want to change for you. Some people really, really, really do. And some people may think you're nitpicking if you say, you know, oh, why didn't you call me today? Or you don't tell me that I look cute or anything like that. Like, and honestly, a lot of these conversation guys, I'm really talking to myself because I've been a victim of all this dumb shit. When somebody shows you who they are, what do? You
believe
them the first goddamn time. Anything else after that is really on you. It's really on you.
Yeah, and I think that was a realization that I had is, one, the expectation, but also realizing my part in the situation. Because a lot of time when you go through stuff with your spouse or your boyfriend, girlfriend, or whatever the case may be, everybody goes through the blaming game of you did, or you shouldn't have done, or whatever the case may be. And they fail to realize their part in it. And like you said, when you recognize the signs from the very beginning, you have two choices. Your choice is whether to stay and take part, or to say, no, this is not going to work because I'm already seeing some red flags already. And then let's just stay cool, or let's just not do each other at all. And I struggle with that because for me, and this is something that me and one of my best friends talk about. We talk about always evolving and growing and developing, and how much it helps us when we do grow and develop. So when people's mindsets aren't the same, like Anthony's, of, you know, you can change. Let me tell you the benefits of if you do what I want you to do. You know,
if you listen to what I gotta say, exactly.
It's to listen to what I gotta say, but you know, even in that same situation, you helped me to realize that it's ego. Because if you think about what I just said, think about what would happen for you if you do what I say. So it
Exactly.
still goes back to ego, and expectations. And instead of just saying, you know, this is who they are. Can I deal with it, or can I not deal with it? And that's where, for me, I have struggled, is that particular place of saying, can I deal with it or not? And then I always go to, I can deal with it. And then I'd stay in it unhappy for years, and then I leave.
Yeah.
But I could have been doing something else or with someone else that entire time had I adhered to the signs from the very beginning.
Let me point this out. Nene just said, forever Nene. It's not always ego. Sometimes we see potential in people and we operate with them from their place of potential, but they aren't there yet. I completely
Yes,
100,
absolutely.
100% agree.
Absolutely.
A lot of my relationships really started about me seeing the potential, not just in a person, but in the potential that we can vibe together.
Hmm.
A lot of people that I work with, I say, all right, there's an energy there, just like you, that if we connect at a certain level, then we can be great together.
Hmm.
Um, in my friendships, in my relationships, even in my business partnerships. But at some point in time, you really start to see that this ain't happening, you know. And then what happened is, speaking from an I place, I find myself just adjusting just a little bit to match their frequency. But by the time that I match their frequency, I lost myself in that connection. Now
Facts.
they've reached that point where I thought they could be, but now I've been twisting myself in knots that I don't even want to be part of it anymore. Now
Yup.
I'm fucked.
You let yourself die down. You've taken away, you've allowed yourself to come down to their level. Now they want to work their way up, and now we're at an impasse. And that's
Yeah,
where a lot of struggles happen in relationships, because somebody could be already here and you're trying to get them to get there. You can't come down because it causes things to unlevel. They're going to have to come up, or it's not going to happen. They don't need to be together altogether. And that's my problem. That's what happened with me in relationships, is that not that I was here, because I don't like to think of myself as being here, but as far
because you're not
as
that tall.
communicate,
Go ahead.
so as far as communication and things like that, and the things that I need in a relationship, I'm like, this is easy. Why can't you do this? And I'm saying it, and I'm not really. I try to be compassionate, and I try to be understanding of how my partners are,
Hmm.
and when I'm in relationships, to know that this is where I can get them to. I can help them get there. All I gotta do is communicate properly, communicate in a way that they can receive it. Think about the way that they like to receive feedback, so I can give it to them that way. That's the trainer in me. That's what I do every day to help people develop and grow in their career, is I have to build relationship, listen, connect, figure out how they work in here, and help them to see what their potential is, but also let them know where their strengths are. So because that's ingrained in me, that I do 5 days a week at work, and sometimes outside of work, I try to put that same piece into the relationship and say, okay, I can help them be successful in this job of being in a relationship with me. And then it didn't happen. And the
Yeah.
funny part now is that they're doing all this stuff now. It's like,
Yo, that drives me in. Like,
you could have did that years ago.
what
But what
took
I
you
had
so
to
long?
learn, though, was from me, and I had to take a step back, and I had to realize that I have to take ownership. For one, I have to stay. But second,
Mm,
you cannot put a time limit on somebody's growth. You can't
mm,
say that because I feel some kind of way, or I want you to do this and you're not doing it, that they can't grow. And my
yeah.
pastor preached on this a couple of months ago. He said, don't curse me. He was like, don't curse me. Don't curse me by saying that I can't do this. I will never live up to this, or I will never be able to make these adjustments, or whatever the case may be. And now I'm like, was you in my conversation? Um,
Isn't that
but
always the
yeah, so
case
now
though?
I'm realizing, for me, I can't, even though now they're making changes, and I'm not saying that I'm going to get with them or nothing like that, but I'm just saying the things that I asked for, that I said were simple, are now becoming easy for them. But sometimes it takes getting into another bad relationship to realize what you had the first time. And I can't, what the one thing that I want to do is gloat and say, well, you should have stayed with me. You should have did right by me the first time. However, that's not the maturity that I want to exhibit. But I do want to say that we as a people have to stop putting people in a place of telling them that they're never going to achieve certain things, or if you don't do right by me, you're not going to have a good relationship, or, you know, all those things of cursing people when it's not fair, because I don't want anybody to limit my growth ability. I don't want them to say, because I'm not doing what you want me to do right now, that I won't be able to do it later on down the line. And because I
You
don't
know
think
what?
that's fair.
I'm glad you said that. And Forever Robert said that's why it's important to be our authentic selves, so that people can truly see they're getting to know proactively versus reactively. And oh shit,
Very
Teddy
good,
Riley
Rodney.
moment. Hold on.
Are you not on Do Not Disturb?
No, I'm shut the hell up. I'm trying to get
You may
back to
say,
you.
wait,
No, I got it. I'm good. We had a Teddy Riley baby face
I
moment.
talk junk, but I put myself on Do Not Disturb.
Um, he made me lose my train of thought. What was I saying? What were we talking about?
Who knows? You started looking at something else. See, that's why you should be focused. But no, you
This is
read
exactly.
Robbie's you read his his comment.
Yes. Being your authentic. I gotta stop drinking. Um, and I'm not even high today, y'all. Like, yeah.
No edible.
So give it time. Yeah, it's. I feel like, especially that quote about being your authentic self, is really recognizing that one thing you would have tolerated even last week is something you no longer tolerate in this week because of an experience or something like that, and continuously having that conversation where you and your partner, look, I know I used to like this thing, or I at one point in time I was okay with you not giving me this thing, but that's changed. You know, and I don't expect you to change overnight because we've been doing this thing for so long. But this is an important change for me, and I'm going to tell you why. And I'm going to tell you why. Don't just spring shit on me. Like, wait, where did this
Ease
come from?
that
Like,
thing in real quick. Be
let's
easy with it.
let's have a conversation. Like, all right, now you don't like flowers all of a sudden. Tell me what happened. And the other thing, oh, we talk about not cursing someone. The other side of it is the person, like, if I don't know you or if you don't have power in my life, you can't curse me because you don't know anything about my abilities. You know anything about me. Literally, just this morning, a friend of mine sent me a text and said that um, this new friend of hers said that a man won't want her because of a physical feature she doesn't have. And I was like, how long have you known this girl? She was like, maybe 3 weeks. I was like, you've given her that much power that whatever she said is weighing on your heart. She doesn't even know you. And that's the thing. Like, if you walk up to me, not
I want
you,
to know
but if
what the
somebody,
feature is.
I'm sure you do. If someone walked up to me at the grocery store, it was like, you ain't shit. I'm like, you, okay, you're probably right, but you don't even know me. So I'm not going to allow you to get mad because you don't know that I am the shit and that I'm completely capable of everything under the sun.
Facts.
So I'm not giving you that much power. Anybody can say anything to you in the world. I've had people say to me tons of times, like, I couldn't start my own company. Started one, then I started another one. And it's like, it's
You ain't got to flex. You ain't got to flex. We know
just a
you're a
little
business
bit,
owner.
just a little bit. But you can't curse me if I don't allow you to.
This is true. And
If
one
I don't
thing
allow you
that
to.
Nene put down there, she said, some people don't even know who their authentic selves are. And I want to
That
talk
part.
about that for real briefly. I was one of those people. I was not being my authentic self because I allowed myself to, one, I allowed myself to shrink in my relationship for the benefit of them because I don't like to argue. I am not a person that likes to do that, but I am a person that likes to express how I feel, and I try to do it in a way where it's receptive. Once again, putting my trainer hat on, and not trying to be, aggressive or overbearing. So, I was not allowing myself to be my authentic self. And there's a lot of things that I wanted to do that I wouldn't do, places that I wanted to go that I wouldn't go. And then I learned that a lot of insecurities within myself allowed me to be in that relationship for so long, not voicing my opinion or not allowing myself to be authentic and say what I truly wanted. Insecure about things from childhood that I didn't even know I was carrying into a relationship. And I shared with somebody this week that because my mother and my grandfather's birthday was on Sunday last week, and I had a really rough day Sunday because I was really missing my grandfather. And I told my friend, I was just like, I'm really missing my grandfather. It was like, why is it hitting you so hard right now? And I was just like, when I thought about it, I said, I don't have a lot of good quality relationships with men. Not in a romantic kind of way, but I just mean holistically. A lot of men that are in my corner that I can count on for whatever, say whatever, whatever the case may be. But the ones that I did have at one point in time are gone. My grandfather is gone. My uncle, who died of cancer maybe 2-3 years ago, was my ride or die. Like right now during this pandemic, we'll be talking every single day. Like he
Hmm.
was my stepdad, and my father, my biological father, doesn't even call me or text me to the magnitude that my uncle did. Every month he would call me, hey, Aunt. He has real heavy voice, Aunt, where you at? You know, I ain't talked to you. Call me. You know, that Philly in him just come out, and he was just a ride or die for me. So having that recollection was like, well, if I don't have good relationships, where is it coming from? And I
Right.
thought about my relationship with my stepfather and my relationship with my dad that are not good, authentic relationships, and it broke me down. So a lot of things that we carry into our relationships may seem like they don't connect, but when you think about it and you break it down and you do some journeying and some soul searching, you will realize that a lot of the things that struggles in relationships, whether it's a friendship, a family ship, intimate relationship, is coming from childhood trauma that we put to the back of our mind that we don't really deal with. And that's one of the big things that causes us to be in the kind of situations that we're in as well.
That was deep.
I thought you was getting cry. I was like, what happened?
No, I'm not gonna cry.
Was you reading something? Stop reading.
I am. Can I tell you what I'm reading?
What you reading?
We're gonna take a commercial break. I get a text message from Police and Firefighter Credit Union. Did you try to charge $103.78 to Walmart?
You buying groceries?
I didn't buy a damn thing. Somebody's using my card at
It's going to
Walmart.
be in. No.
That's what I said.
Block it.
But now my card is blocked. All right, back to the conversation.
That's a shame. But yes, so it's a lot of for me, it was a lot of insecurity within myself. You know, I grew up with insecurities. I was always the short one. I had the big Dumbo ears. They kind of grew in. My head grew into it a little bit. I had a big head. I was small, big butt,
Oh,
you know, buck teeth, which was, I always grew up with insecurities. And then when I got into teenage years, I had really bad acne. People don't believe me when I tell them to this day until I show them an old picture. I'm like, I will show you a picture on Facebook of where I look like a crunch bar, a whole
fucking
crunch bar.
crunch bar.
And I just grew up with insecurities. So when I was going through those situations, I'm like, if anybody's willing to take me, I'll take it. I'll deal with whatever it is
So
because
you
of the
settled.
fact that they are willing to take me on a journey with all these pimples, all these blackheads, all these different whatever it is. I'm just gonna go with that person. They can treat me like, I ain't gonna say they can treat me like dirt because I wasn't that crazy. But you know, it's a lot that I will put up with because of the insecurities within myself that I had, and I was willing to take on whatever. So it's a lot of insecurities that helps us get into those situations and makes us stay for as long as we are because we don't recognize the greatness that's within us and hold on. And one of the things I teach people in my classes is that they'll say, I suck at this. I'm not really good at this part. And I tell them, listen, it's going to get better. You're going to have to work it out as time goes by, but you got to hold on to the strengths that you have and continue to focus on those strengths and don't worry about that one insecurity. If you did a call, because I'm a trainer for a call center, if 80% of the call was great and then 20% was wrong, don't focus on the 20%. Write down what that opportunity was, but round of applause to you for the 80% that you did do well. And I think a lot of people, for us in the insecure, for people that are dealing with insecurities, which is all of us, we always focus on that one thing that we wish were different and then forget about all the amazing things that are great about us.
Well, Nini said being our authentic selves means stripping ourselves of those insecurities. So, and you and I both know from previous conversations how long of a journey that can be.
Yes.
Um, because once you feel like you got rid of one, you got another one waiting in line. Like, all right, my
Facts.
turn.
I'm telling you.
Um, but no, I mean, and we talked, I don't know, this is probably one of the first conversations we talked about was insecurities.
Mm-hmm.
I remember we were in Mexico. That was a whole adventure. That was funny as hell. Oh,
Chris almost died.
which part?
Skydiving.
Oh, yo. See, the funny, okay, that's a good analogy. When we went skydiving, yeah, so we decided to go sky. First of all, we took this trip to Mexico, like maybe 3 or 4 months into our friendship.
Mm-hmm.
And we went to was Cancun.
Mm-hmm.
And we said, you know what, let's go skydiving. So we went into the city. We left the resort, and the plane, this little crop duster plane, literally was big enough It wasn't even
Tiny.
big enough. It wasn't even big enough for 5 people, but 5 people fit in that bitch. It was us, the two jumpers, and the pilot. So
Mhm.
literally, I'm like scrounged up next to the pilot, and I can
Mind you,
see out
Chris
the.
is, how tall are you? Tell the people how tall you are.
I'm 6'2".
He's 6'2" in
I'm
this tall
6'2".
plane with this
Yes, knees to
person
chest.
connected to him on his
Yes,
back like this
yes,
with his knees to his chest in this small
yes.
plane with me on the other side with the other guy connected to me in the pilot. It was a very small plane. But go
And
ahead.
I hate to say it, I don't know if that guy was having a good time, but he got a little excited behind me. I was like, listen, like you got to take me to dinner first. But I'm looking out the window as the plane going up and up and up. And I'm like, all right, we high enough. So I'm talking to the pilot, like, we there yet? He's like, we halfway there. And I was like, wait, wait.
Not you
That
saying we
level,
high enough like you know how to fly
like,
planes.
yeah, I'm good here. We could jump at this part. Like, we ain't got to go no higher. So, we kept going up. And I'm like, just looking, I'm looking. I'm like, at this, now we're above the clouds. I can't see shit. So
Mhm.
now my level of excitement, which was here, and my fear was here, really just was went the other way. So I'm like, all right. So it was like, all right, we're here. So they was like, they said, open the door. Let me tell y'all.
And Chris was first to jump. He jumped
Yes,
before me.
let me tell y'all. When they opened that door,
He almost
the
shit
whole,
everywhere.
the bitch in me, I was like, nah, like we're not doing this now. Like you got to close the door, circle that shit, land that shit, because I'm
Listen,
not
get
going
me
out.
off of this.
So then I don't know if you heard him. He was like, if you don't jump, nobody jumps. Cool.
No, I didn't hear that.
Close, close the door, because ain't nobody jumping. So, so now it's you only got a certain amount of time because like you're at a certain level. And the guy's strapping in and they're yelling instructions. Now I'm trying to listen but not bitch out. I'm like, wait, what? He was like, all right, go to the door. I was like, all right, give me a minute. Give me a minute. I gotta get my life together. And the thing is, they say get to the door, and I think you guys see in movies that when they go skydiving, they jump out of the plane,
Uh-huh.
which was my understanding of it. No, in this plane, for whatever reason, you step literally outside of the plane
On a
on this
step.
little on a step. So now you standing
One.
outside of the
One step.
you still. I'm getting H's all over again. I'm standing outside of this plane. And he was like on three. And he said 1, 2, and just let go. And we got to repost our videos. Talk about polarizing, like completely opposite reactions. I was screaming so fucking loud. I think you heard me from the plane
And
as I
I
was going in.
was in that plane howling. I could hear Chris screaming. It seemed like he was still right next to the plane. That's how loud Chris was. And I was
Yes.
in the plane. So I'm playing it cool. I'm scared as hell. So I'm like, yo, listen, well, if somebody's gonna die, it might be Chris. He's first. So he
Yes. Because you're fine.
listen, I'm fine. I'm still in the plane. So if something happens, maybe they're gonna say, let's turn this around. Your friend didn't make it. I just gotta figure out how to get home.
Oh
So
shit.
I will. One of my best friends says, "I will live to tell the story." So he was screaming. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, "Oh shit!" But then I start giggling. But then after a while, I didn't hear him. I was like, "Oh shit!" That means they might get ready to take my ass out there. And I had to do the same thing. But Chris's video, he is literally screaming the whole time. He's not following the directions that they gave
Nope.
us because they
Nope.
said when they tap you on the shoulder, that means you go from holding onto your harness to going like this with your hands out
Nope.
like this and free falling. Man, tap Chris like 4
Look.
times to
He
say,
was
let your
beatboxing
hands
on my
go.
fucking shoulder. He was just para, para, para. I said, nope, nope.
And I was the complete opposite. I'm like, wow. I thought I
Mm-mm.
was pumped. I thought, look, now I'm going to ask y'all a question. Did y'all see the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie where they
The
jumped out at
first
the
one.
beginning of the movie? Please raise your
The
hand
first
if
one.
you saw the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie when they jumped out the plane and raised their hand.
Mm-mm.
That felt like me. I felt like I was getting ready to go skydive with some friends. We're going to hold hands in a circle in the middle of the air. I was
Not
so
me.
hyped. But Chris's was
Not me.
not like that. He is
I
literally,
was
he
like,
looks
pull the
terrified the whole
cord,
time.
pull the fucking cord, pull the cord. He was like, we not low enough. I said, fuck that, pull the fucking cord.
Oh my God. That was the funniest thing. I gotta be honest. I go back and I look at Chris's video more than I look at my own because he was so mortified. He was so scared. And he's the one who had the idea. It wasn't even me. It was Chris that wanted, well, let's go skydiving. Yeah, I think that'll be great. Yeah, because we got to do this. Because, I mean, the whole trip, he's like, planned it out. And then he's like, yeah, we're going to go skydiving on this day. And all giving me all this energy. But, baby, like he said, the bitch came out.
Simon. You know what? But I can't wait to do it again.
I legit want to, too. So I'm supposed to be doing it again with my best friend's birthday when we go to Dubai next year. So that's going to be, look at my hair. It looks terrible. That's the plan for us to do skydiving again. But it's going to be fun. But that was so funny. Now you took us off topic, Chris.
It was bound to happen. Usually when it's happened on the podcast, I can go back and edit it out because that shit would be like an hour and a half.
Exactly. Losing train of thought. But I think we were saying thank you for this and all that kind of stuff. But thank you guys for. I don't know if we're done, but thank you for joining in so far and the feedback.
We can do closing remarks.
Well, before closing remarks though, I do want to ask. A lot of y'all have been a lot of people that are in here have been our ride or dies for the podcast. So first, thank you to everybody that has been really supporting the podcast and sharing the posts and stories. Keep doing that. It takes nothing to share a story on your Instagram page. It takes nothing to share a post, appreciative of all of that. I'm still talking. Don't stop me when I'm in the middle of saying something.
Because you quick to forget.
Go ahead.
I remember how we got on that little tangent.
Oh, now you said closing remarks. Now you want to go back. See, this is what
no, because it came back to me.
Go ahead.
We were in that tiny car driving to Excella or whatever like that, and that's when we was having those deep conversations about our fathers and dealing with those childhood traumas. Because I think we had a similar upbringing, I guess, with the lack of male figures in our lives and how it really stemmed to literally both of us making poor choices with the men we surround ourselves by. That's how we got there. Okay.
Yeah. And mind you, these cars are really tiny and Chris is tall and he drives like a granny. So he is in this car.
Because the car was doing kilometers. And I didn't know if I was speeding because I only went miles per hour and I was about to do the conversion in my head. So I was like, and we did get pulled over by the cops. So
yes, we did get pulled over by the cops the very last day. He was taking me to, let's tell that story. He was taking me to the airport to catch my flight.
Yeah.
Do you know how he was speeding in this little 2-seater car?
I'm gonna post photos.
I'm immediately sweating and like, oh shit.
We're about to go to Mexican jail.
And you know, in movies they say you never want to go to jail in fucking Mexico. Mm-hmm. So I'm pissed, but I'm also scared at the same time. Do you know these Mexican police officers were trying to get us to give them money so that they can let us go?
I think it was like $50 or something like that.
Yeah.
I would have paid it if I'd have had it.
What'd you tell them? I can't remember. You said you didn't have your wallet or something?
I don't have cash.
He said, I don't have any cash.
I would have paid it though. Like, I'm not going to Mexican jail with $50.
Never. Can you follow us to the ATM real quick? Because we will not be going to jail there. But yeah, we had a really good conversation because it was like maybe 45 minutes to an hour from the resort to, what's it, Xenia or something? That's the picture that we kind of took and put on the post that we put up yesterday about this live. But it's like an adventure park. But that we had a long, really good conversation there. And the conversations have just kept going, ever since. Even though we do podcasts maybe once a week or once every 2 weeks, and we're talking about the content all the time. Chris and I have good conversations all the time, whether it's long, short, if he getting on my nerves and I'm telling him he getting on my nerves, I don't like the way he's doing something, or vice versa, and he just ignores me, one or the other.
I'm good for
that. Conversations with it. But yeah, so I think that was pretty much I think it was a good conversation, good topic. If y'all agree, put some hearts or something up. Show some love some kind of way. Let us see something. But also, before we kind of do closing remarks.
Oh, he's frozen.
Huh?
Damn, it was just getting good.
I'm frozen?
Now you're back.
I'm frozen.
You're back.
Oh. But before we close out, let us know what topics you want us to cover. Some things that you want us to discuss and have conversations about on the podcast for the future. If you think that we should do more lives like this, let us know. You know,
Can we get
because,
Nene on an episode?
huh?
Can we get Nene on an episode?
Nene is a talker, baby. She will enjoy it.
She got fast.
Nene is another person that I have a naturally authentic relationship where it just happened. A friend of ours had a birthday party in DC, and the night that I met her, we was like this, linked ever since. Same thing with Colette. Same thing with my best friend that's in the King that's in the comments. Like a lot of the people that are on here, we've had have very rarely authentic relationships. My brother Ron that's in here, first meeting him, instant connection. So when I think about it, I'm very grateful to have really, really good people in my life, really good relationships. I may not always say it, but they are really, really good people. I appreciate them. So we'll try to get Nene on the topic, get her on, because she's up till late all the time. And we do music every Friday on live. If it's nobody in there, it's me, her, and Colette. That's it on live. But if y'all can think of some topics, you know, hit us up. You can either message the Secrets Are Killing Us page, message me or Chris, and our personal pages to let us know what topics you want us to talk about. We do have some upcoming episodes that are coming up that in preparation for Mother's Day. So we're having some conversations with some mothers. We won't say who or anything yet, but we are having some conversations with mothers about the journey. One of the episodes is going to be about raising sons. Another episode is...
You don't want to tell them who?
Huh? No.
You don't want to tell them? I know you're so excited.
No. We will announce that later. So stay tuned to the episode, the post on the Instagram page. But we will also have another episode talking about becoming a mother. You know, the challenges of becoming a mother, going through the pregnancy things, the things that people need to be aware of if you decide, I don't want to say decide to get pregnant because sometimes it's not a decision on purpose. But if you happen to get pregnant or whatever the case may be, and the struggles that comes along with that, we're going to be talking about that and some of the sad things that happens with pregnancy when it doesn't go out right, or if it's not a full-term pregnancy, or, you know, stillbirths and things like that. So we have some really good, authentic, heartfelt conversations that are coming. Some a little more heartfelt and not heartfelt, but a little more lighthearted than the others. But really, really good conversations that are coming. And we want people to get involved. We want y'all to share, let people know about the podcast. Let them know about the things that we've talked about. Let them know about this live. So Chris, once we stop the live, save it so that if somebody, you don't know how that works, I'm pretty sure. But once it stops, it'll give you opportunity to press
I know how to save a conversation.
Very good.
There's a squirrel outside my window.
Still. But in case somebody didn't get the chance to see it and you thought this was a good topic or a good conversation, you know, send them over to our page so they can watch this live, and hopefully it'll be insightful to some people. So y'all are great. Y'all are dope. Thank you for rocking with us as long as we've been doing this. It's been a year for the podcast. It's been it'll be a year for me in June when he first asked me to be part of the podcast. The first time. But yeah, we have a lot of good things coming up and some more topics, but we need your help. So if there's anything you can think of that we haven't touched on that you want to talk about that's authentic, let us know. Let us know what you think about the live today and all that good stuff. But as we sign off from our live today, I just want to say that everybody realize that everybody's on a journey. Everybody is on their own internal journey. I can think about conversations that I've had with, you know, some of my best friends about, you know, where we were in different places of our lives over the years and how we are where we are now. I can remember being the only person that went to church in some of my friend groups and talking about ministry and how exhausting and tiring it is. And now my best friend, you know, got saved several years ago. That's nothing exciting about your friends getting saved and, you know, getting baptized and nothing like that. But he did that, and then his relationship with God is developing and growing. And now he's one of the head ushers. So he knows what it's like to be in ministry full time and, you know, the changes. So don't put a lid on somebody's growth. Allow them to be themselves, pray for them, love on them, but also realize that, you know, people's journey is theirs. Everybody's journey is not our individual journey. Their time to change has nothing to do with us. It's all between them and God. So don't put a lid on anybody's growth. Allow them to be themselves, pray for them, and help them grow. What you got?
I'm going to go back to the skydiving story for a minute because I think it's prevalent. I think that, like you said, we're all on the journey. And for me, in that moment, that point in my journey, it was terrifying. I was screaming, I was praying. Shit, I might have started crying. Because it was an intense and emotional experience for me. For you, your reaction was different. But now, though we took those two journeys separately, we can talk about it and we can be honest. So we can even laugh about it. And I think that's such a microcosm of exactly what we're all going through, especially now with COVID-19. We're all we jumped out of a plane. We're all falling. People are tapping us on the shoulder and saying, making sure you're okay. Some of us are laughing. Some of us are celebrating. Some of us are using this time to start podcasts, to become entrepreneurs, to express their creative sides. But some of us are struggling.
Yeah.
Some of us, we miss people. We miss being around people. We miss that physical contact.
Touching, yes.
And it's a real scary thing. Mental health has always been a passion of mine, and really that's why we started this conversation. And we called it "The Secrets Are Killing Us," because a lot of the things we feel, a lot of those insecurities, a lot of those uncertainties about ourselves, these secrets that we internalize are really eating us from the inside out.
Yeah.
So I'm so grateful for you, Anthony, for taking this journey with me and having this platform for us to talk about so many vulnerable things so open and honestly, and giving each other the space to be real.
Yeah.
So the other side of that is just taking care of yourself and realizing exactly what you want from yourself, what you expect from yourself, and the other person. If they're not meeting your expectations, then for your own mental health and your own sanity, put them down, let them walk. They'll come back eventually.
Right.
But yeah, it's time to let the secrets out.
Yeah.
It's time, and it's time to love someone who finally is breathing and being vulnerable to you.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times I don't want to talk about shit because I'm afraid I'll get ridiculed for it.
Yeah, facts.
Even if
that's
it's
been ingrained in us for so long.
Exactly. And what our friends tend to do is joke about it and tease you for it, and you laugh it off a little bit, but inside you're like, damn, I'm never going to say anything.
Right.
So this is not the last time we're going to go live, because this was fun.
This was fun. I enjoyed this.
And what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back. I'm shut the hell up. I'm talking. I'm going to save it, but also I'm going to repost some of those pictures from Mexico. I'm going to post the car. I'm going to post the skydiving videos. That time you almost drowned in Excella, or that place we went to.
Who almost drowned?
You.
Did I?
I got the video. Yes, I got receipts. I got receipts.
Send that to me. I don't even remember that.
But yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm gonna go back to my movie because I paused it to do this thing, and I'm like deeply invested into it.
And it was his idea. But no, thank you guys for rocking with us. Thank you for the support.
Thank you,
Remember
guys.
to subscribe, follow the page, make sure that you are involved in the conversations. Give us the feedback. We're hoping and praying that this is something that's being beneficial for y'all. And as it benefits you, we're hoping that y'all are passing it on to other people so it can benefit them. That's what it's all about. That's why this podcast is here, to break the stigma of not talking about things that are really important that we need to for our own mental health and development. So thank you. We love y'all. Signing off. Bye.